Hello and welcome to Elf Sculpture. This is a moderate to challenging activity. You're going to need some 4-inch paper tubes, toilet paper tubes work fine, and some 3x5-inch index cards or construction paper. You're also going to need a pencil and a marker, and some scissors, as well as something to color with. I'm using colored pencils, but markers or paint are great. And you'll need some glue, and if you're feeling fancy, a little piece of cotton. So first we're going to make the bodies of our elf sculptures, and to do that first we're going to need to flatten out our elf sculpture. Now in this video I'm going to be using a marker, but you should always use a pencil first before you use a marker. Now as you can see, I'm just following the basic pattern that's on my right hand side there. And this is the pattern that we did in our drawing video before. I'm using half ovals for the arms, I'm using a big square for this belt buckle. I'm bringing the belt all the way to the side. So this is very much like our drawing activity in the previous video, which you should have done before this one, because it will give you the skills you need to make this work. But if you haven't, go back and check it out. Now I'm adding some lines to show where the hands would be and the sleeve. And this is the bottom of the big coat that the elf is wearing. And poking out the bottom is going to be the feet. Now I'm doing two curvy lines that meet at the bottom. I'm starting in the middle there. And that's going to give him pointy toes at the end. Now if you look here, I'm using my marker to mark where my lines end on the side of the tube. That's important because I've got to draw lines that connect them. So I've got to see where they begin and end. So I'm going to make my bottom line a little longer and then across from it a little longer until they meet in the middle. And I'm going to do that until I get past the belt. We're almost at the top of the belt. Here we go. Alright, now I've made the belt. I'm going to stop there for a second and look at the arms. Okay, so I need to make the rest of the oval for the arms and connect the hand line. Make the rest of the oval and make the hand line. There we go, that looks right. And this is going to be the hair that's on the back of the elf's neck, and this is his pointy ear. You can see there it goes, there's the ear. When we flatten it out we can see a 3D thing here. Now I'm going to make the heels of his shoes by finding the middle of the bottom line, drawing a V, and then creating a small rectangle on either side of that V. Remember, you can pause this and rewind as many times as you need to. I'm just taking a minute to fill in my belt and shoes just so I know which part is which. But you might want to color yours with a different color. That's okay. I just thought black was a good one to start with for this basic elf. So then we're going to get our scissors and cut out the empty spaces around the shoes, front and back. Then when I go to the back, I'm just going to clip off the top of that little triangle right there and right there. Please don't cut off the front of the toes. Oof. It will make you sad. Alright, now I'm going to bend this pointy part at the front. It'll curve up like a pointy elf shoe. There we go. And you can color the underside too if you want, but mostly it's not going to be seen, so I didn't bother with that. Now I'm going to color in my elf's clothes. Alright, and I'm going to get to the beard now, and I've got 3 different things to choose from: chalk, color pencil, and a paint marker. I'll show you the chalk in a second, but I want to start with the color pencil. And this is a pretty decent color pencil. And it will make the paper look white, but I think the chalk looks a little bit better on this paper. And then finally I have the paint marker. I'd use that to make a fur trim around the edges of the outfit. But I think the paint marker and the chalk are the best ones for this project if you have those. If you don't, that's okay. Just use what you got. No big. Alright, now I'm going to bend their feet, make sure that they can stand up on their own. Now this guy, I want to go ahead and try something crazy here. I'm going to try putting little dots of glue on the beard and then covering them with torn up bits of my cotton here. I'm going to put those off to the side so they can dry. Now I'm going to work on the hats. These are going to be their cone-shaped hats, and you'll need this 3x5 inch card. If you don't have 3x5 inch cards, you need something that's at least that size. You can cut it to that size. You can go a little bit bigger than that, but 3x5 is what you will mainly need. Bigger is okay, but no smaller. Alright, so I'm going to find the middle of my card, and at the bottom, I'm going to draw a little curvy line, like an upside down U. Then I'm going to have diagonal lines that come out from that all the way to the edge, of the card. And then I'm going to connect both ends of that with a curvy line that goes all the way to the top of the card. You could call that a fan shape. But that's the shape that we'll need to bend the paper into a cone. So I'll go ahead and do that again. Find the middle, make my upside down U, and I draw my diagonal lines out to the edge of the card, and then one more big curvy line that connects them. Now I'm going to cut these together. You don't have to do it that way. Of course, if you're only making one, you only have to do this one time, but I'm saving some time here by cutting both of my cone-shaped hats at once because they're the same shape. Now this paper is pretty thick, so it's going to make a pretty tough little hat, and it can be hard to bend at times. Depending on what kind of paper you have, you might find this difficult or easy. I found it a little bit difficult at times, but hopefully you'll have as much luck as I did, or even more. So now that they're all cut out, I'm erasing my pencil lines, and I'm going to bend my cards into a cone first. Just get the right shape with it. One side needs to go over the other, so you might have to tweak the top, curve it around, use your pencil to help shape the tip. This is going to take a little bit of effort. So after a while of playing with it, getting it to take the right shape, I put my glue on one edge of my cone, one of the straight edges. There you go. And then I bend it around and hold it until the glue can dry a little bit and get firm. Then, as you see, I put some glue and cotton around the edge and on the top of one of the hats. That's optional. Of course, you don't have to do any of that, but if you want the challenge, it's pretty fun. Alright, next, check one more time. Make sure your elf will still stand up straight, because next we're going to glue the hat onto his head. He needs to be able to stand up straight for this. I'm going to get little dots of glue on the inside of the top circle of my cylinder, my little paper tube here. Try to make sure it doesn't drip down the front. That would make it look like your elf is crying or sweating or something. And it would just look better if we don't see the glue. So we're going to try to keep the glue dots dripping to the inside. It's okay if they drip a little bit, no big deal. Alright, and then we're going to pick up our hat and get our mess out of the way. Pick up our hat and put a thin little line of glue on the inside of our hat too. Don't use too much, you don't want to go crazy here, but just enough. Now you'll sit it on top of the tube. It should fit nicely, and let it dry while standing up. And those glues will kind of squish together and hold it all together. In the end, I ended up with these two elves. I hope you ended up with something that you like. If not, there's always the alternate project. I hope you have a great time, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.